NYYST. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Homie, New York, Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NYYST, you're hanging with the fellas.
Welcome back. This is episode 341 of the NYYST podcast. We're live on NYYNewsTV. I'm your host, Christian. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And SGR.
What up?
Do you just want to just let the bloodshedding begin? Do you just want to just jump right into killing? Well,
yeah.
Can't say kill. Can't say
okay, can't say kill. Can't say kill.
Unalive. Do you just want to unalive everybody right here?
Yeah.
What are the algorithms going to pick up on unalive, and you won't be able to say that anymore?
I think they have. We have to counterbalance it with something like extra woke. You know,
I heard. Okay. So I heard that the left is claiming the Barbie movie. I heard that.
Okay. I love Barbie. Okay, she's hot. Okay,
and the right gets Oppenheimer.
Okay, Oppenheimer.
We got Jason Aldean this week.
Is Barbie fat in the movie?
No, she is portrayed by a very
not good to be skinny.
Well, originally it was Amy Schumer, but now, Margot Robbie.
My God, are you serious? She was in running to play Barbie?
Yeah, she had the role, and then they kind of didn't go through with it, and now they went with Margot Robbie as
I have an idea.
Barbie.
I'm sorry, but when I'm thinking of Barbie, I'm not thinking of Amy Schumer.
Okay.
Margot Robbie definitely fits the role there.
Okay. That's stereotyping. Okay. Sexist.
Okay. Feminist.
Let's just do this for an hour because it will save my heart.
Of blondes in my heart. I want to wish my wife an early happy birthday. Her birthday is on Friday. So we're live here Thursday night. If you're going to listen on Apple Podcasts, it will be my wife's birthday. So
I'm going to call her right at midnight.
Wife. If you do that, I swear to Christ,
I'm going to fucking call her
unalive you
right at midnight.
I will unalive you if you wake her up and then subsequently wake my child up.
12,
I'll drive down to fucking
12:00:01 seconds.
Drive down to your fucking house. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll Tommy Canely you. Okay. I'll treat you like that.
Like a fan.
Wow. That was pretty solid. That was the best. That was the most contact Yankees made it all fucking week.
Because we got this stat from Codified Baseball earlier in the day that the New York Yankees over the last 40 games are dead last in Major League Baseball in team batting average. They are batting .212 as a team in the last 40 games. Do you know that the Pittsburgh Pirates are the 29th place team and they have a full 10-point lead on the Yankees?
That is fucking disgusting. I'm going to try and laugh at it as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And if you don't cry, you'll probably want to pull your head through.
Aroldis Chapman.
Who all of a sudden is good, apparently.
Yeah, well, look, let's just start here. There is
some
some
toxicity in this.
Yes, there's some truth. I'm not letting guys like Chapman and Hicks off the hook here because ultimately I'm a guy who, every person should be held accountable for what they put forward. But at the end of the day, there's also some truth in the fact that
I'm going to count every time you say that this week.
You're right. I got to stay away from it now. That some guys come here and it's not just the mental weakness like Aaron Hicks. There's something toxic here that it's just a place for players to die. I said it a few weeks ago. The New York Yankees are a place where great players come to be good players come to get hurt, and bad players come to get way too much playing time.
So do you think Aaron Hicks would be hitting 271 with an 844 OPS if he was a New York Yankee?
Absolutely not.
Those are his statistics with the Baltimore Orioles.
And I don't want to hear, it's because he's getting consistent at bats. You can say that about a lot of guys. Aaron Hicks had his time here and got plenty of consistent at bats. He had an 0 for 40 run a couple seasons ago. But again, there's also some truth to that There's something here that we don't nurture guys, and guys come here to just fucking die.
Oh, I mean, you know what? Aaron Hicks, notwithstanding, I think forget Aaron Hicks. He's not here. He's not part of the problem.
Fuck him.
Okay.
So good for him. He's hitting 270 in Baltimore. That's great. Awesome. The problem is that the New York Yankees, if we look at the current standings here, and we have to, because I think it's important to actually say this. The New York Yankees are now, after getting swept in Anaheim and losing 2 out of 3 in Colorado, they had a 1-5 road trip coming out of the break. They are now 10 in the loss column, 10 games back of the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore is overtaking first place by 2 full games. Okay. So that's first off. And then if you want to look at the wild card standings, right now, currently the Houston Astros and Toronto Blue Jays are tied for second and third with 43 losses. The Yankees are 4 games out of the third wild card spot, and they have to leapfrog the Boston Red Sox to get into the 4th place spot. So,
I mean, you got to put that into perspective a little bit.
And I'm going to put it in perspective right now, because in Tampa's last 10 games, okay, Tampa's last 10 games, they are 3-7. Every team in the division has gained ground on the Tampa Bay Rays, except for the Yankees, who lost a game.
Yeah, let's look at their last 10 games in the AL East. Baltimore 8-2, Tampa Bay 3-7, Toronto 7-3, Boston 7-3, Yankees 2-8.
And I keep saying this because it bothers the living shit out of me that the Yankees on Sunday, and I mean, again, it's the one thing I knock Garrett Cole for. He was fucking brilliant on Sunday. Brilliant. Gave up one bullshit home run. You know, I don't think that's one of those weird, funky Coors home runs. He gave up 1 run over 6 innings, struck out 11. He was dominant. That's Garrett Cole right there, right? The Yankees lost the fucking game. That's the 5th game this season the Yankees have lost with him on the mound, in which he's allowed 2 earned runs or less. So if you look at that, you want to take that for what it's worth, that puts the Yankees at 42 losses. If they win just those games, just the games where your ace is on the mound pitching like an ace, right? You give me those 5 games, I give you everything else poorly that the Yankees have done this season, right? The Yankees are in the 2nd wild card spot right now. 2nd.
And not to mention, he came out in the 6th with 1 run, you said, right? That was his.
Yeah.
They ended up giving up 8 fucking runs that game. 8.
Oh, well, we're going to work our way through everything, right? Because now the big problem is everybody's like, "Oh, this bullpen is fantastic. This bullpen's the best bullpen in the big leagues." No. What are we seeing right now? A lot of mistakes from this bullpen. Bullpen blowing runs, blowing leads, right? They had 2 2-run leads against Colorado on Sunday. Couldn't hold either of them. Lost the game. They had a 2-run lead late in the game on Monday against Anaheim. Couldn't hold the lead. We've seen the leaks in this bullpen constant over the last couple of weeks here, where there's games the Yankees could have won and maybe would have won 3-4 weeks ago, even without Judge, right? That they're not winning now because the bullpen is either really putting the game out of reach or they're blowing the leads that they do have. And why is that? Because they're gassed. They're tired. It's July 20th. This bullpen is running on fumes. We didn't we have this conversation in May? Yep. I feel like we did. And you people, you guys, you wonder, and if you're in the chat, please like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Let's go. We got a ton of people in here already.
And leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, please, if you get a second.
That'd be nice.
About this bullpen is going to be done by June, July, and they are. You're seeing the effects of it. None of these guys are the same as they were in the beginning of the season. And you wonder why. Oh, what are you screaming about? Garrett Cole was at 95 pitches. This is why we're screaming about it. Because this guy clearly can give you another inning that's an inning away from having to pitch Michael King or Ron Marinaccio. Where's Wandy Peralta been? The Yankees finally dusted him off the last couple of games. He hadn't pitched in like 2 weeks. Why? Wandy's arm was probably hanging on by a thread. I mean, Jesus Christ, this This is all what the things that we talk about. These are little simple things that the Yankees can do that can help the team out. And they don't do it. People are like, oh, 95 pitches. This guy's paid $40 million a year to be my horse, but I got to pull him at 95 pitches, dominating the game. It's a residual effect. This is now you're seeing it come to fruition here. That the bullpen is tired right now.
He has a bullpen fetish. He just itches to get in there.
And I'm not getting on Boone for pulling Cole on Sunday. This is the one time I was okay with it, with the high altitude. And even though he threw 102 pitches, I still felt it was an easy 102. But if he's past that number, I'm not going to get that upset about it. I would have loved to have seen Cole come out there and go batter to batter. If I was the manager of the Yankees, I talked to Aaron Boone, Aaron Boone, Garrett Cole when he comes out after the 6th inning and say, big guy, what do you got left in you? And then I go based on what he said. Instead, we all knew Boone was pulling him because he had hit 100 pitches.
Right.
But I would have loved to have seen Cole have that conversation, Boone and Cole, and say, what do you got left? Can you give me one more, two more? Anything to stay out of the fucking bullpen at that point.
Yeah, and we got to put things into perspective, too, in a sense of this. It's not just a downward spiral, right? We have to think of things in the grand scheme from 2016 on. And as of right now, look, you can talk about the injuries all you want. You know the Yankees are gonna ride that wave. But even with all the injuries in the world, this team should be built to sustain gaps in their schedule against teams like the Rockies and the Angels, who are beaten up, and really they were falling off pace. They were below 500. And I'm not going to take that as an excuse. So we went from 2016 selling it off, rebuilding, right? Because everyone's talking about, should the Yankees sell? Well, guess what? The same guy who decided to sell in 2016 built the team you're watching right now. And a lot of the guys that he tried to build it with, guess what? He held on to them and gave up big trades for them. And now they're nowhere. They don't even exist anymore. So you trust that this guy is going to sell off and do. So anyway, to my point, now not only are we talking about not seeing a World Series caliber team in 2023, this team's in last place now, and not even they're starting to fall so far back they might not even have a shot at the third wild card. They've added so many. It's so difficult to not make the wild card at this point. They have the second highest payroll in baseball. I mean, anyone, and I don't really see a lot of people doing this anymore, but anyone defending this organization in front office right now and the decision to bring Cashman back and anything, just think about where we are. And then on top of that, where we're supposed to be. We're not the Orioles of the last decade where we're watching shitty baseball because we have a bright future ahead. This is the future. We are in the future from back then when we were supposed to have a World Series or at least a solid run at it. And since 2017, things have just gone completely downhill. And it's downhill. Truly unimaginable. I just can't imagine it anymore.
And you could say that this is the lowest point because, I saw the stat the other day. For the first time since 1990, the Yankees are in last place in their division in the month of July.
Crazy. So
since 1990, they haven't been in last place at this point of a season. That's crazy.
I mean, this team, this current Yankee team, without Aaron Judge, would beat that team in a 7-game series. That's how bad that team was.
Yeah, I think they won 67 games. That team. Or some really low number.
That was the rock
67
bottom
and
point.
95. 67 and 95.
I think 91 was actually the rock bottom point where they cleaned house.
Yes.
Stick Michael and Buck, really started to take the reins at that point. Are we ever going to get to that point here? I don't know. Something that we're going to discuss in a few minutes. But the big news of the day is Wash Donaldson. His tenure with the Yankees looks like it is over. Okay, he hit the 60-day IL because, and this is what $50 million buys you if you're Brian Cashman. Ready for this?
Ready.
All right. $50 million. He absorbed that contract from Wash Donaldson, right? Okay. I'll be completely honest with you.
Where did the team that he took the 50 million, where did they spend their money?
I mean, we all know the story already.
Elgato.
If Elgato shows up here, well, then you know it's all gone wrong.
So, $1 million, okay, which this is what we talk about all the time. It's not the money Hal allows to be spent, it's who he allows to spend it. And this is how Brian Cashman spent $50 million over the last 2 seasons. Actually, the Yankees have to pay Donaldson $6 million next year to get rid of him. Okay, so that was
Beautiful.
just a stroke of genius on his part here. Okay, so in 2 seasons, Wash Donaldson has played 165 games for the Yankees. 2 seasons. Oh, if you say that's a full season, then 25 and home runs and 77 RBIs don't sound so bad, right?
Right.
But mind you, this is over 2 seasons.
And was he supposed to be a starter over the 2 seasons, or was he a bench player?
He was definitely
Starter.
supposed to be a middle of the order
Gotcha.
run producer. So, okay, so you want to say injuries, but still you got the production over. Okay, no, but look at 207 batting average. Oh, that's fucking stellar right there. 6. His OPS doesn't even start with a 7. 6. 78 OPS. 92 OPS plus. Means that he's below average for everybody that doesn't know, because 100 is league average. And he struck out 180 times in 165 games.
Solid. And this year,
That's for $50 million.
I don't know if this stat changed, but I don't think that it did, because he didn't really have too many at bats since I heard it. But I was blown away. He had 15 hits on the season. 10 of them were home runs.
I think he had 11 home runs. Did he have 11?
Let's see. He had 15 hits, 10 home runs.
I gave him credit for an extra
Okay.
home run there. Okay.
So
The illustrious career of Wash Donaldson in New York Yankee uniform looks to be over. And a lot of people are asking this, on social media today. And even Pete asked this in a video that he did. What do you remember about Wash Donaldson? Well, I remember is that he was brought here to have an edge, and then he was claimed to be a racist, and then he would no longer have that edge because he called Tim Anderson Jackie. So that was fun.
A self-given nickname.
Okay. Then, when the Yankees were going through their bullshit last year, he hit a walk-off grand slam against the Tampa Bay Rays, and he cried in Gleyber Torres's chest. And then the Yankees continued their losing streak after that. And in the postseason, I live about 30 minutes from Yankee Stadium in New Jersey, and I could feel the wind from him waving at pitch in the postseason. But you guys don't understand. He had really good at-bats.
Solid. Work the counts.
And this year, when everybody said that he was washed, we gave him the nickname Wash Donaldson. You were told you were crazy if you didn't think that he was going to have a comeback season. In fact, he spent most of it hurt and proved just how fucking finished that he was. So that is what Wash Donaldson's legacy is that he is by far, and I'm going to put the stamp on it right now, the worst trade acquisition Brian Cashman ever made.
Okay, that's pretty solid. I just want to get to the super chat from Ronnie real quick.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
What up,
He
Ron?
said, why are 28% of the fans in here? Why do they want to fire Boone? Because Pete ran a little polly poll. While keeping the guy that hired him and constructed this roster is beyond me. Ronnie, we're going to get to all of that.
Oh, don't worry about
Don't
that.
worry. We're going to touch on
Stay
all
tuned,
of that.
Ronnie.
Okay. Touch on it. I want to say this about Donaldson, and mind you, he's a guy that I could not stand before he put pinstripes on. So for me to say this I'm shocked that I feel this way. I don't feel any resentment or hatred towards Donaldson at all. This is
really his fault.
It's not his fault. It is the man who brought him here that I hate for him. Look, we were once again sold on a product that we all knew. Anyone with a clear mind and 2 eyes knew that it was more likely to end up the way it did than the way they told us it was going to.
I didn't think it was going to be this bad, though.
No, but at the end of the day,
That's 2.
at the end of the day, if it, no, that's actually 4. I think I said it twice before. Is that the phrase that you said I say too much?
Yeah, bro. We were.
All right,
I'll
practice this week.
like 9 times in a 2-minute
right.
span.
So yeah,
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT
at the end of the day, try practicing to stop fucking saying that.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna talk to ChatGPT, okay, and I'm gonna ask it to give me a better phrase
like
that
a
I can use, and then I'm gonna say that all the
Similar
time.
phrase.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
You have a further point here.
Just I almost said it again. I just look, even if you didn't expect it to be this bad, did you ever expect it to be good enough to make a difference?
To make it worth it?
Right.
I don't think so.
I'd say this, and I think you had a really good point, Chris, is that he might not be the guy we expected him to be in the regular season, but he seemed like a guy that might change the culture in the postseason. And that is always kind of what I held on to, except for we saw him in the postseason.
Yeah. Arguably their worst asset in the postseason last year.
Yeah, tough to have an edge and have that attitude when you're literally the laughing stock of the entire lineup.
Oh yes, Wash Donaldson. I mean, it's a shame that it took a season-ending injury essentially to finally get Peraza up here. Peraza had a good first 2 games, and then I think he struck out 7 of his last 8 times. Although he still better be in the friggin' lineup tomorrow, because I mean, I just what is your other options at this point? And this is what that nobody on this team has stepped up in Aaron Judge's absence. Not one person has stepped up. Anthony Volpe did a little bit, and now he's in a 3 for 40 slump.
Well, Christian, just real quick to touch on that, it's a little difficult to keep rolling in the street on the streak that you're in when you've been struggling all year. You're finally seeing the ball well, and then one game you're batting 6th, the next you're batting 8th, the next you're batting 7th, the next you're leading off, then you're batting 3rd. I mean,
okay, well, what's Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo's excuse? They're consistently in the same. They're consistently in the same 2 spots in the lineup every single day.
That is completely different. Those are the guys that, and I'm not giving Volpe a pass either. I think he's a much better baseball player than we're seeing, and he's got to get his shit together if he wants to be here. But at the end, Stanton. See, I caught myself. Stanton.
Really, you said it.
You put the tip in, it counts.
Stanton, just the tip. Stanton, Rizzo, and DJ are the guys that you expect to step up and carry this team. And they just have disappeared. DJ has looked a little bit better of late now. Or is it just
he got a little
Colorado? He came out of the gate.
Juice.
Yeah.
Got a little Colorado juice going.
He just seems to be making better contact than I've seen him make.
Simmering a little bit now. Let's maybe I would say one person has somewhat stepped up. I wouldn't say he's been like an MVP caliber, but Gleyber Torres last 30 games, 33 hits, 284 average, 3 home runs, 11 RBI, and an on base of 333.
Hey, guess what? They would have won the last game before the All-Star break if it wasn't for him.
Absolutely. No, and when you look at those moments like that, that was a huge loss.
And I'm glad that you brought Gleyber Torres, because I got a lot of people roasting me on social media for this, because I absolutely had a problem with him chasing Eduardo Escobar around the field with a fucking toy cat before the game the other night.
Yeah, I mean, how these guys even have the balls to look, it just shows you the culture of this team, right? It's all fun and games and it's friends, and there's and it's just you show up and it doesn't really matter how you're playing, just go have fun. They should fucking, and I'm sorry for anyone saying like, oh, that's ridiculous, they shouldn't be laughing in the no, you want to laugh in the clubhouse where I can't see you. Please, because this is your job, right? We spend money to support you guys. You guys get paid because we support you like assholes, and you're running around playing fucking games like you're animals. Fuck you, man. Show up to the field and get ready to win a ball game.
Yeah. Yeah, Christian, I felt like you were one of the first people to really call out that moment, and the negative feedback you got on that was pretty ridiculous. And then the next day I saw a few takes with that similar, that similar opinion, and everyone was kind of like agreeing with them the next day. So
Well, we're the hated trio.
yeah, I don't know, but that might be the case. I mean, I get it. That was something that they did during the World Baseball Classic, but you gotta realize where this team is at right now. It's kind of like
It's a slap in the face.
like an ignorant,
And here's
it's an
my
ignorance
problem with
thing.
it. It's not that he saw his friend there and he thought he could sneak up on him and put a cat on his shoulder, which is one thing. If he would have done that, I probably wouldn't even had a problem with it. He ran around the fucking field chasing him. And
Yeah.
and everybody that thought it was cute and fun, what are you saying if Gleyber Torres tears up his knee doing that?
Yeah,
Such
look
an
what happened to
yeah.
Edwin Diaz.
Look what
Celebrating,
happened with,
jumping up and down.
It's Jared. I think his first name's Jared Kalenic of the Mariners. He fucking broke his foot yesterday he kicked something. He kicked something and broke his foot.
And somebody replied, I would have called it a freak accident. No, a freak accident is what happened to Aaron Judge. Well, what if Gleyber Torres had gotten hurt in that situation? It would have been out of his own sheer stupidity. Because what are you doing chasing somebody with a toy cat before a game? It's a bad optic.
Hey,
and
man, he's focused on winning the World Series.
And this is what we always say. Hey, people don't think we're joking, but it's true. Like, did he get it? Did he get a cupcake and a fucking juice box after he did that? And Boone tussle his hair. Good job, Gleyber. You got him. And then I had a bunch of replies. Well, we would have been shut out if he didn't hit a home run. He was the only one that hit a home run. Okay, so he can act like an asshole because the Yankees lost 5-1 instead of 5-0. Because that's what I felt like. He was just out there. That's the thing that was on his mind at that point. Let's go chase my friend with a cat.
Yeah.
How about you go take some extra infield, Gleyber?
Yeah, honestly. And real quick, let's get to our boy Rye. Sent us a super chat. You're the man. Thank you. He said, I hate to say this, but we all need to accept the fact that the Yankees aren't very good. Even when Judge comes back, we are extremely flawed offensively. The stats speak for themselves. Couldn't agree more, man. And just a quick point on that. I agree with you that Judge isn't going to save everything, but he's so good that it does change things, and hitting is contagious and winning is contagious. And the Yankees are desperate for a guy who can bring that, and he's the only one at this point. But to touch on what Christian was saying real quick, talking about the assholes and everything, as shitty as the Yankees have played and as tough as they've been to watch, striking out 17 times the other night and not scoring any runs against pitchers with 6 ERAs, my biggest problem isn't even with that. It's in addition to that, and this is where I put it on the manager and the people in charge. Not only is the talent not there right now, but they're showing up like they're not prepared at all. How many base running mistakes are we going to make? How many stupid things are we going to do to make it easier for the other team to keep us off the scoreboard? So it's one thing if you're struggling and you look like a bunch of, piles of shit out there. But it's another when you're doing that, and then you also look like you don't belong on a baseball field.
Yep. And you're doing that, and you're blowing 4-1 leads. You're blowing 2 multi-run leads, and you're losing games that you really shouldn't. I mean, that's the definition of a bad team.
I mean, look at it like this. Look at yesterday's game, right? You want to say that Jameson Taillon is not really a 70 ERA pitcher? He probably isn't, right? And we know what Jameson Taillon
Sure.
is. We've seen him enough over the last couple of years. Right, the kid that started the game yesterday for the Angels was just called up from the minor leagues. Okay, had one start all year. Had been mostly used as a reliever. He struck out 10 guys in 5 1/3 innings. 10. I mean, that's just.
How many pitches did he throw?
I don't recall.
120.
No, he didn't.
Who? Are you talking about Canning?
No. Canning did, though. I think that was the most in baseball this year.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Seth. What does it?
Seth? Yeah. Silseth.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the yeah, sorry, Christian, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I don't even have like a word to describe that. That's not even. That's just bad.
Yeah, and if you look at their performances since let's go back to that Tyone game. Tyone a 6.93 ERA entering that game, 8 innings, 0 earned runs. Then Gomber for the Rockies, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. He had a 6.4 ERA. Chase Anderson had a 6.89 ERA. He went 5 innings, no earned runs. Canning, 5 2/3, 2 earned runs, 4.6 ERA. And Pablo Sandoval, 7 1/3, 1 earned run with a 4.41 ERA.
And every single pitcher starting for the Royals this weekend has an ERA over 5.
So they should look like Cy Youngs.
I mean, this is the part everybody's like, oh, this is the part of the schedule where you can get some wins here. This team just they don't even look like a baseball team right now. They just look like 9 guys up there just trying to get home at the end of the day. That's all. That's what it looks like right now.
It does. It's totally in their face. So you just don't see winners out there.
And look,
Sorry,
Christian, you go.
Go.
How many times have we talked about good Yankee teams when they don't beat the bad teams, right? And it kills them. We're past that now. They're not beating anybody. They don't look like they belong in the same league as even the worst teams right now. And so you're almost
Ryan,
to a point.
I'm sorry, Chris.
No,
Ryan,
it's okay.
Can you do me a favor and look up the record from July 5th on? Because July 4th, they took that, right? They were up 2-0 in the series to Baltimore.
Yes.
And then they lost the next 2. What's their record from July 5th on?
It's got to be so bad. But, you're almost to a point now where you're not even looking at the schedule for stretches because
it doesn't matter who they
It's
play.
going to take something extraordinary for this team to figure it out. And they have to just pray that this has been just I don't even know what you want to call it, but that they're going to find it. Because I still believe, I don't want to sound like Aaron Boone too much, but I still believe this team is way more talented than what we're seeing out there. And that honestly is what becomes the biggest problem for me.
Well, let's take around the horn here. Ryan, did you get it or no?
Well, so in the month of July, they are 5-11.
And that's with the 2 wins against Baltimore.
Yeah, that was in the first week of July, right?
They're
those
3-11. They're 3-11 since they had a 2-0 lead on.
Well, yeah, because they lost 9 of their last 11.
Let me just go back.
On a
Crazy.
3-11 stretch, these sons of bitches. They're not supposed to take them seriously. What's the one good? Take Baltimore out of there. They lost 2 consecutive games to Baltimore. What's the one good team they played in that stretch? Can you name him?
Not really, no,
No,
because it
'cause
was
it
with the
doesn't
Cardinals,
exist.
the Rockies, the Cubs,
Last place.
and
They're
the Angels
3-11 against
without Mike Trout.
The Angels are like where are they in third? Angels,
But the
Something like
Angels,
that, yeah.
but remember, up until they played us,
we're
the
on
Angels
a
were
1-9 stretch.
right.
Yes.
The Angels were on a downward
Yes.
spiral. Other than Ohtani, that team was completely worthless.
Oh, you tell me. What am I supposed to believe in unless Aaron Judge comes back?
And again, to Ra's point, even with that, we don't know if that's even going to make much of a difference, but that's our only hope.
It shouldn't, because realistically in baseball, it shouldn't be about one guy.
No.
If you took Michael Jordan off the Bulls, you saw what they were without him. Or if you took LeBron off of the Lakers, forget that's a bad excuse because they were pretty bad this year, right? Or no, they made.
I think they made the playoffs.
Take him off the Cavaliers. The couple years after he left the Cavaliers, they were awful.
So in the NBA, one player can completely make the difference, right?
Right.
And same thing in football, which is really the quarterback, right? Do the Patriots even sniff being a dynasty if they have Matt Castle as the quarterback all those years instead of Tom Brady?
The thing with Judge, though, and the reason why he carries this team so much is because we have so few guys getting on base, so even fewer guys coming through with runners in scoring position, and Judge does it so frequently. Either he's hitting a home run with no one on base, or he's coming through big with runners on base, and he does it so frequently that he almost becomes the only person catapulting this offense. And when Judge takes an offer, it's very rare that this offense shows up.
They don't win.
Right.
So go around the horn real quick. So we'll start at catcher. Higgy's okay as a backup. I'll give him that. I think he's played relatively well for being a backup this year. Okay, but that's what he is, a backup. Jose Trevino doesn't even look like he belongs in the league right now. Okay, If you disagree with something, then stop me. Or I'll talk
No,
about
no,
it.
I agree with
No.
that 100%.
Continue.
Anthony Rizzo should be the guy. He's one of the guys that's here to step up and be, to be a number 2 run producer, number 3 run producer behind Joe. Where the fuck's this guy been? You want to start
Awful.
talking about guys that are washed now. This guy hasn't hit a home run in 40 games.
Awful.
Gleyber Torres, okay, we're on a Gleyber Torres hot streak, but this is what Gleyber Torres is. He's a guy that goes through extreme peaks and valleys.
He's been a lot more consistent this year, though. You got to give him that.
I don't know about that.
He's batting what, 260, 270 almost?
Extremely hot. He was hitting
Yeah,
240 at the
264.
All-Star break when Aaron Boone thought he should have been an All-Star.
I know. I'm just saying that he's been a guy who's
you
shown
look
up in
like-
the big spot. You got to give him credit there. And I know that's partially influenced by the fact that no one else has stepped up. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you got to give him credit.
That's
Mm.
8. Okay. You look at Sunday's game, right?
You catch it.
Gleyber
Uh-huh.
comes out of the gate swinging. He's fucking hot as all hell coming out of the gate, and then he just abandoned his whole approach, swinging from his heels, trying to pull everything for a 500-foot home run. That's what frustrates me about him.
Sure.
Okay, so you want to say Gleyber, but what is Gleyber being hot really done for this team? Nothing.
No, nothing. He's not that
Because-
guy. He's not going to carry a team.
Okay, so you move over to shortstop.
Yeah,
Anthony Volpe's in a funk. I don't really want to get on him too much because he's a rookie. He's not supposed to be carrying the team, but they got to get something more out of him than what they've been
Yes.
getting out of the last couple of weeks. Third base is a black hole right now because it was Wash Donaldson, then it's LeMahieu, and then Peraza struck out 7 of his last 8 times up at bat or something crazy like that. You go to left field. I don't know. Is Randy Velarde not doing anything? Can we throw another fucking infielder out there?
Yeah, why not?
Center field, Harrison Bader. Great. Harrison Bader is
Is walking down to first base after he gets a base hit. After he hits the ball, puts the ball in play.
then you go out to right field, and then it's Stan's been playing out there recently, but again, what has this guy got left in the tank? You said this to me a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I think it's too soon to say that he's washed up. Well, he had a little bit of a hot streak there where he hit home runs in 4 consecutive games, and what's he done?
Well, let me ask you a
Can't
question.
find him.
And I'm not asking this. I don't know. I truly don't know this answer. After he hit the 4 consecutive games and he hit a home run, did he play the 5th game or 6th game? Was he benched since then?
I don't know if he's sad. I think he's played pretty consistently.
I'm sure. I think you're right on that. I just want to ask because that's another thing too that I say to the fans all the time that is it really fair for us to get on these guys for not getting hot when when they do get hot and then they're just sitting the bench? They had, here's a perfect example. I know it was just 1 or 2 games, but Cabrera's finally swinging a decent bat, right? The night before, he's the only offensive spark, or actually, I think it was Peraza 2 came through. And then Cabrera's on the bench again the next day. For who? Who was it? Was it? I don't think it was McKinney, but it could have been. Oh, it was Cordero, I think, because they wanted
I think Stanton just played. Stanton just played in right that night.
Yeah, but he could have played left, and they opted for someone else.
It was
I don't think
Kiner
Cordero
Falefa
is
and left.
Oh yeah, IKF
And then
was
Bader and
was
center.
it?
DH
And
was
it's like,
Rizzo.
is it really fair for us to get on these guys for not being consistent
Yes.
at this point?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is.
Listen, man. Listen,
Somebody's got it.
I got to
these are
disagree
paid
with you here in a
professionals.
sense, and I'm not disagreeing with you in a sense that we can't get on them, and ultimately, they need to be held accountable too. But also, we need to take into consideration the fact that this team doesn't let them get hot. They get hot and they sit.
Tell
the
me
bench.
Anthony
Do you
Rizzo
know-
hasn't had the opportunity to get hot.
No, that's different though.
Oh,
He hasn't
but this
been
is what I'm
hot.
talking. This is
I'm
my
saying when
point.
they are hot, do you know how important it is to continue to get at bats while you're
I
hot?
understand that. I
Okay.
understand that completely. But you mean to tell me that Stanton hasn't been given a run here? Rizzo hasn't been given a run
I'm
here?
not saying that. You're with those guys, you're 100% right.
Even
I
LeMahieu.
see
Has
what you're
LeMahieu
saying,
not
Chris.
been given a chance? A lot more playing time, especially since Donaldson's been hurt? I mean, if
Not
those three
disagreeing
guys-
with you there.
Okay. And the rest of the team is just not that. I mean, the rest of those guys, on face value are just not that good.
My argument here is more of in the context of the last handful of years watching a team that can't put it all together offensively.
Team is exposed without Aaron Judge.
Exposed big time. That's a great way to describe it. And we say this all the time, that one guy, whether it be Stanton or Judge, or even when Sanchez was here and striking out a million times, sometimes a guy just being in the lineup changes the dynamic so much. Okay.
Do you know the hot girl effect?
Yeah. I watched how many.
And there's a knockout. You want to say she's a 9, she's a 10, okay? And she's with a bunch of otherwise what you would say average looking
average,
girls.
yeah.
But she brings up the beauty.
She brings them up.
Every one of those girls around her. And then when you catch one of those girls alone at the supermarket, you're like,
we are going to start banging.
like, wait a minute, that's not what I remember you looking like, because
Right.
the hot girl's not there to pass her beauty onto her anymore. So Tracy was a 10 in the bar, and now she's a 6 at the supermarket. Okay,
You're a little misogynist. Okay.
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 Wouldn't be the first time I've been accused of that. one.
Okay. Misogyny,
Okay.
racist.
Okay.
Aaron Judge does to this team. He makes a bunch of 4s and 5s and 6s look like 8s. And now he's not there, and they look like fucking they're not even looking like 4 or 5s, and they're looking like a bunch of 2s right now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even.
That's
you wouldn't,
low.
Really? Am I telling a lie here?
No.
We're getting catfished, according to someone in the chat.
That's a good one. That's good.
And look, you want to talk about the big guy, right? Okay, so he's running the bases before the game yesterday, going for run first to home to first to third, and you're watching him, and like he could, and maybe he's not full game speed, but if that's what he's giving you, really he should be on a rehab assignment this weekend and then ready to go for the Mets on Tuesday, right? And and friggin' Aaron Boone over there is like, well, hurt. But I can't tell you if that means days or weeks. Hey, dumbass. One does mean close, which is days, and one doesn't mean close, which is weeks. So he's either fucking close or he's not.
Why are they so scared to label it?
I don't know, bro. Because at this point in time, right now, and the Yankees have come out and said that even when he comes back, he's going to see a lot of time at DH. They're really going to limit his time in right field.
We said that. Your mic keeps cutting out.
So what are we waiting for right now?
Right.
He's taking BP. He took live BP off of Nestor in Anaheim. He's running the bases. What are we waiting for?
Because, bro, there's zero. They're starting to more and more. They're starting to say the quiet part out loud, and you're starting to be able to recognize it. There is no urgency. Boone said it the other day. We still, with 2.5 months left, I'm not going to keep going to the bullpen with 2.5 months left. What? What does that even mean? 2.5 months left? You're still.
Yeah. That's been what the main thing I've heard in the post game, because I actually like watching the post game more when they lose.
Me too.
What they're talking about,
Me too.
That has been something that Aaron Boone has clamored on for the last couple of weeks. Is it's still early. We still have 2 months left.
Crazy.
And it's like, dude,
Four games out of the third wild
man,
card, dipshit.
Side note:
what are you talking about?
When they're on Prime, have you left the TV on by accident?
Yes, dude.
And then it just gets you, and I didn't even realize it was going on.
Yeah,
and I'm going,
the
what
music,
the fuck is this music? Awful. But then I said to myself, that was better than listening to the game behind me.
I guess I'm a fake fan because on Tuesday night after Ohtani hits a triple, I'm like, I'm going to bed. There's no point.
That's not being a fake fan. That's being a fan that knows what you're watching.
And then last night, 6-3, they gave up the run in another run there and make it 7-3. I was like, there's no, it's not even a point in any of this.
Crazy.
But then by the time I did venture back upstairs,
right in front of us. El Gato.
Yes was on the TV when I turned it on. And I sat there and I listened to Boone, and he said something. He's like, I'll acknowledge it. We stink right now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Aaron. Like,
Yeah,
because we've
I
been
heard
waiting for fucking a month for you to admit that this team is terrible, and you finally admitted it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fill some air a little bit because I want to look something up. I'm sure Christian knows because he knows all these weird things, but I'm trying to figure something out that I want to ask you guys.
All right.
Ryan didn't think that I remembered Sergio Mitre played on the 09 World Series.
Sergio Mitre. This is Brian Cashman here. I just want to say, guys, I really don't like what we're talking about tonight. This is also for Sunil in the chat. Continues to ask for Brian Cashman to come on here. I respect the fans and their wishes. So this is for you, Sunil. I don't know what's going on, but hey, it's only July and we have 2 months left. We've been dealing with injuries, so
Fuck you. If I had the opportunity to interview Brian Cashman, I would say, Brian, thank you for sitting down with me. Fuck you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Then I would immediately just jump right into that. I said, Brian, do appreciate you spending a few minutes with me. Fuck you.
Okay, first and last time. Okay.
Was the one of the things that my old man passed down to me was a love of this baseball team, and you've absolutely fucking pissed on that over the last 7 years. How do you feel about that?
It's I know there's a lot of history with this franchise. It's a big part of our makeup here, and we know what this team stands for, and we're going to keep doing what we can to put the best team out there, because that's what we've been doing for a decade now. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know you spent $50 million on Wash Donaldson to play 165 games for you, and he had a below league average OPS plus? Do you know that?
Yeah. I mean, look, but we also we got Garrett Cole here, Aaron Judge.
Okay, because you got Garrett Cole here because you offered him the largest contract in the history of baseball up to that point. Okay. Yeah, you do know that, right? You didn't really do anything there.
Well, yeah, maybe, but we have Volpe. Okay, we have a bright future.
Okay, he's hitting 204 right now. You passed on.
Yeah, but
10 All-Stars for a kid hitting 204.
But it's a good 204. It's a good 204.
It's a professional 204.
Yeah, right. That's it. To quote our former hitting
also,
coach. Sure.
You mentioned Aaron Judge. You tried everything in your power to fuck that up, and you weren't even allowed near him during the negotiating process in the offseason. Maybe. Because you do realize you could have saved your owner about $100 million if you knew how to do your fucking job in that instance, right?
Well, they do call it Moneyball for a reason. And, I just, Gio Urshela was a great diamond in the rough guy that we had. Right.
You said Wash Donaldson was better than him.
Oh, I did. Shit.
So I've been saying all season that it just this team hasn't had a significant run at all, not even close. So I wanted to just look up again. I'm sure Christian knows this right off the top of his head. What's the longest winning streak? And I was shocked that it was even this high. What's the longest winning streak the Yankees have had all year?
Okay.
5.
Great question here. Yeah. Oh, thanks for letting me.
No, he said it.
Oh, he said, all right, 5.
I wasn't going to put it at higher than 5.
No, 5. They've done it once. How many times have they strung together more than 3 wins in any, gap throughout the season?
3-game streaks.
More than a 3-game streak.
4.
Twice.
They did it twice.
And once a 3-game winning streak once.
It's so bad.
Okay. That's how inconsistent this team has been. And that 5-game stretch, correct me if I'm wrong. I wasn't looking at the dates. I believe that's when Judge came back from that first injury and they started to finally look like they were clicking a little bit. And that's when we started feeling decent about this team.
Certainly possible that it did correlate with Aaron Judge coming back. But the reason why everybody is here tonight, and again, if you're in the chat and you haven't hit that like button, hit it. Okay.
Okay.
And your little fingers away over there. I see you. Hit the like button.
Okay.
We ran a poll earlier today, and it's a good poll. It's halfway scientific, which isn't bad for being up for 4 hours.
Okay. Did you freeze?
No, I didn't freeze. I was just reading a
I thought
comment
maybe you froze.
because I love it when people answer in
Uh,
the cuckiest way possible.
okay.
If
Okay.
you ran the Yankees, okay,
You.
Okay.
who would you fire first, Aaron Boone or Brian Cashman? Over 670 people voted in this poll, which I said is halfway scientific, which is pretty solid for 4 hours. 72% of people said they would fire Brian Cashman first. 24% said they would fire Aaron Boone first, and 4 people, which they qualify as either cucks or trolls. Okay.
Okay.
4% of people said they wouldn't fire either.
I'd say out of all of the polls that we've put out to really expose the fans who know what they're talking about, this was by far the most swayed towards the answer that was right. Like, I was shocked that many people chose Brian Cashman, because it's easy to hate Boone every night, right? It's easy to hate the guy who's, making the dumb moves in the games, and the guy whose face we see out there every single day and in the post games. But at the end of the day, man,
9.
go ahead. Yeah, you know what? I fucking love saying it. Okay.
Say it again.
Aaron Boone is
Love
not
saying it.
Look, firing Aaron Boone, is that a step in the right direction? Sure. Only because something has to change, right? But I promise you, if this keeps happening for a little bit longer, they will fire him, I actually believe. Only because it's gotten so bad to a point they never imagined could happen. And they need a scapegoat. They need to fire someone as high up as possible, not named Brian Cashman, of course, and that's going to be Aaron Boone.
You say.
Your mic cut out a little bit, so he didn't hear you.
And Ryan, what's your pick here?
Well, I mean, I got to keep, if it's me making the call, I'm keeping Cashman because I could do an impression of him.
Yeah,
I can't do the
you make a
Boone
living.
voice. But here's where I'll kind of change. I'll do, I guess, devil's advocate in a way and go against the majority of our almost scientific poll and say I would go with firing Aaron Boone first, because I need to make a change now. And the move that I see making the most of a difference for this season would be to fire the manager rather than the general manager. I think firing the GM is an off-season kind of thing that you want to do. And I think firing a manager is something you do in the regular season or during the season. So if I'm making a first move, I'm making that move today. Pretty much, I'm firing Aaron Boone and hoping that I get a similar kind of trajectory as the Phillies had last year, where they fired Girardi, and then sure enough, Rob Thompson comes in and then they go to the World Series. So
that's
you
a
could
fair
provide
point.
a spark. You could provide some kind of spark, maybe, if that's what they're looking for. If they're not throwing the season away, if you're washing the season away, then yeah, Cashman's the guy to go. But if you still want to have a chance at this thing, fire Boone now, bring someone else in to maybe try and provide some kind of spark.
Can I just touch on that real quick, Christian? That's kind of what I was saying by, at least it's a step in the right direction, because it can't get worse than this. So,
don't say that, because I've made about 4 videos in the last week where
I know.
used
You
that
keep saying it's rock
exact
bottom.
fucking phrase, and it keeps getting worse. So don't challenge them.
I know you're right. But here's the thing. It's true that firing Boone without firing Cashman, you're still going to get the same thing over and over. He's going to, right? But you made a great point. It is mid-season. So firing Cashman right now isn't going to do you any good. At least firing Boone, yeah, someone who comes in is going to just be the talking head for Cashman anyway. But sometimes that switch up can provide something. So maybe you're right there. I actually like that point there.
And I could maybe add another point to give somewhat of a benefit of the doubt to Cashman, who has been the only hire since they've brought in guys like Brian Sabian and Omar Minaya. I think they've only made one major hire since those guys have been here, or major move, and that's firing Dylan Lawson and bringing in Sean Casey. So maybe that full-on analytic approach is shifting in the other direction when you bring in a baseball mind like that. So maybe Cashman isn't as hesitant to listen to guys in his corner there with Sabian and Manaea that maybe could next year, if they do switch managers, can maybe have a different approach.
But
Maybe.
I can't
I
even come close to believing that until I see
I
it.
agree. I completely agree. I'm just kind of giving those little points here that they did add a
Hey,
baseball
I
guy.
hope, right? I hope you're
Yeah.
right, because
Yeah.
Cashman's not going anywhere, guys. Like Boone, the only reason Boone would get fired is to be the scapegoat here. But then they're going to quickly learn that it's not going to get the fans off their back, right? So it's going to end up biting them in the ass. But, you know, I hope you're right. I'd rather you be right, and that's the course this organization takes, because Cashman's not going anywhere until Cashman wants to go somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I've been pretty steadfast in this and saying that nothing changes unless Brian Cashman is gone, and that it's complete horse shit that Brian Cashman will get to bring in another manager, right?
Yes.
But you'd think that my answer would be that we have to fire Brian Cashman first.
Wow.
But today, on July 20th, Aaron Boone is the guy that I fire. Ever been allowed to speak to the media yesterday. He should have been fired the second that game was over, because Ryan makes an excellent point there. If you're firing Brian Cashman today, you're tanking the season. The season's over in your mind.
Right.
You're done. You fire Aaron Boone, still looking to try to win this year. You're trying to, try to find that mold of what the Phillies did last year, where they fired Girardi, Rob Thompson brought them a spark, got them to the World Series. Not saying, I guess Carlos Mendoza would probably be the guy as the bench coach. Not saying that happens, but that's what you're looking at happening.
I just want
to go ahead.
Oh, I just was going to say, I just want to pull up their schedule. Who do they got coming up this weekend? The Royals?
Yeah,
the Royals, right?
City and the Mets.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. If they lose this series, and in an embarrassing way, just like they've been, and Boone is not gone by Monday, I don't think they're firing him at all. That's my window right there.
The window closed last night on an in-season firing, in my opinion, because he should have been gone last night. Yeah. You don't get to come back from the West Coast after going 1-5 against the friggin' Rockies and the Angels. It's over for him. I was hearing this. Oh, the players much like him. They got no respect.
I don't want a guy they like, to be honest.
They have no respect for Aaron Boone. Are you kidding me? They don't respect him. If they respect, they wouldn't be doing half the shit that they do out there. This team looks disinterested. And yeah, that's part of who is playing for the team. And we all know who picks the players for this team. But it also the culture in the clubhouse.
Hey,
give me a different voice at this point.
As fans, it's tough to truly know a lot of things because we're not, behind the curtains and in the clubhouse with them. So we don't truly know. There's certain moments where you can say easily that was the team showing they had their managers back, right? When's the last time you remember that happening, Christian? We said it a million times. Not with Aaron Boone, but with Girardi. We always assumed they didn't really like Girardi, whatever.
They
but
came back in that series against Cleveland.
Right. That is a team showing they respect and love their manager. That's respect. It's not hugging each other after the game and saying it's going to be okay and bringing in a Kleenex for your fucking tears. It's going out there and finding a fucking way to win so that assholes like us aren't sitting here talking about your manager being a pile of shit. That's respecting your manager.
On last night, I'm listening to Aaron Boone, and he says that I want my players to be authentic. How? How do you want your players to be authentic when you're one of the fakest people I know, dude?
Wait, I love
the same thing last
night. It's like Chris Farley and Tommy Boy. When he's like, I can take a shit in a box and label it guaranteed. Authentic what? Pieces of shit on a baseball field?
Yep.
I mean, come on. Just give me
these guys. you want these guys to be authentic out there, and I guess what he want. I think he was bringing up the point of after Tommy Kahnle stomped the fan. He's like, somebody asked him if everybody should do that, and he just wants everybody to be themselves, be authentic. You're not authentic. We all remember you slapping the microphone and then ever so gently putting it back on the table. That was fake. That was fake outrage. Authentic, you lie every single night. You lie to the media. You lie to millions of fans every night. You don't hold anybody accountable. Tommy Kahnle stomps the fan, and you got to have a talk with him. Why? I want to see 25 other guys with that type of emotion. The team sucks. He had a bad performance, and he's pissed. That's the exact type of reaction that a guy should have. That's what. Yeah, and then everybody's gonna make a big deal about Carlos Rodon blowing a kiss. He probably shouldn't have done it, but fucking, I don't care that he did it. He's pissed too, and he doesn't want to fucking hear about it. Like, you want to, oh my God, I can't fucking look at him anymore. He has to go immediately. That's why if you're telling me I could fire one guy right now, today, at 9:33 on fucking July 20th, Aaron Boone has to be the guy. He's got to go, man. I can't listen to him anymore. I can't listen to him pat everybody on the fucking back. The things he said about fucking Donaldson, we all watched. We all knew. This is a famous line on this channel. I'm a baseball guy, bro. How? How are you a baseball guy? And then you make fucking comments about Donaldson, like, you're dumb if you don't think that he's going to have a bounce back year. Hey, dummy, we watched him play baseball. I'm going to be 40 years old, dude. I've watched a lot of fucking baseball in my life. I know when a guy is fucking done. This guy's done. And you're calling him stupid because we don't think so. And what happened? He was fucking done. Gleyber Torres cost you a game. You guys have so much trouble winning games. He cost you the game Sunday. Last Sunday, before the All-Star break, he cost you the game. Hey, Aaron, don't you think it's a problem Gleyber makes all these errors? Well, I don't think he does. He leads the league in errors. You're his fucking manager, dude.
I'm going to challenge you a little bit here. I think he is authentic. You want to know why?
Authentically stupid?
Yeah, because I remember a night a couple weeks ago when Billy McKinney was the only Yankee hitting for the last couple weeks. And it was the 8th inning, and it was either tied or they were down. I think it was tied. And to me, the manager who decides just because a lefty's coming in that Josh Donaldson is a better choice than anyone at this point, regardless of what side of the plate he's on, especially the guy who's been your only offense at the time, to think he's the guy to bring up in that spot, you have to be authentically delusional. You really do. You have to be delusional to look at that, because I promise he's the only person, him, the analytic nerds, the computers, and Brian Cashman are the only people on the planet who in that moment can look at a piece of paper printed that tells them, yes, Josh Donaldson is the move right now, and not have enough in their brain and in their gut and in their heart to say, no, that is absolutely wrong. You have to be delusional.
Chapter and verse, bro. We can go through it over the last few years of the glad handing. And this guy, he's 0 for 50, but he's got really good at bats. He's going to impact the ball, and he's right there. We're about to turn a corner.
I mean,
the corner you're turning on, dude. It's like it's not a street anybody wants to be on, pal. It really isn't.
And I don't want to get into this because Pete took this the other day and it was fucking killer. So everyone go on TikTok, YouTube, whatever, find this rant from Pete on what, in my opinion, was the most egregious thing I've heard come out of Aaron Boone's mouth, which is saying a lot because there's been a lot of things he said. But it was something to the effect of, after the Canning game, when the Yankees struck out 17 times, he actually said, we made him work hard for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to even touch on it because I don't even want to steal any of that thunder from Pete because he fucking nailed it. And it was hilarious. And I was actually laughing out loud just waking up in the morning when I'm usually miserable. So everyone go watch it. But I mean, if you want to talk about the egregious things he's done at this moment in time, for that to come out of his mouth was enough for me to say, I don't care who the GM is right now. I want him gone. Do I still pick that I want Cashman fired first? Yeah, because ultimately, I think he's the biggest problem, and I think we all believe that. But I'm actually swaying more towards where you guys are now. But I mean, after that, I just said I never want to look at this guy behind a Yankee microphone ever again.
It's his team anymore. I can't listen to him speak anymore. The team doesn't respond to him. It came out earlier today that after the game was over yesterday, he spoke to them sternly, but didn't yell. What? Sternly, but he didn't yell. Now, guys, I'm going to take away nap time if you don't play hard against Kansas City. Fuck
Torres, you won't be able to run around with the cat before, on the field again if you guys keep losing.
And I ended that tweet about the cat with saying, these are Aaron Boone's Yankees. And people are like, oh, you're going to blame Aaron Boone. Yeah, I'm going to blame Aaron Boone for that. Absolutely, 100% I'm blaming Aaron Boone for that because I can guarantee you that if the Yankees were in a free-for-all like they've been over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and Joe Torre or Joe Girardi was the fucking manager, Gleyber Torres would not be running around with a stuffed cat before a game.
In college, we one of the best coaches I've ever had, but no one really liked him. Like, he was kind of an asshole. We were in a rough stretch. I think it was, we were in a pretty rough stretch. And then one of the games we tried to pull a prank on someone on the field before the game. And my coach was literally silent, right? We got on the bus. He wouldn't talk to anybody. When the bus parked, he got up. He said, before everyone gets off, I want everyone here at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow and get ready to run. And we showed up and we literally ran. At one point, we had to run backwards uphill until half of us were throwing up. And then he said, if you ever fucking do that again, especially when we're losing, you'll be off my baseball team. And we never even fucking thought about it again. We were all business after that.
In my senior year of high school, when my illustrious career ended, we had probably the worst coach in the history of high school baseball. Okay. Even though he was the winner for 20 years, that was the winner.
Stacy, go warm up.
17, 18-year-old kids, okay? Kids working around doing the similar shit that Gleyber Torres was doing. Maybe not with a stuffed cat. I don't even remember what we were doing. We were fucking around like kids do before a game. And we were under 500 at the time. And we were in danger of not making the county tournament because we were under 500. And he lit into us. This is why you guys don't win games. This is because fucking going ballistic. And guess what? We listened to him. Like him because we thought he was a bad coach. But at that moment, him telling us to cut the shit and focus on fucking playing baseball, it resonated with us. We finished over 500 and we won a county tournament game. And I credit that him yelling at us for that. And we're kids, man.
Yeah. Hey,
grown-ass fucking adults can be spoken to in that manner, too. Gleyber, cut the fucking shit. What do you think he's going to do, cry? He's going to cry about it? Good.
Then good, cry. And then get the fuck off the team.
But it's okay, Chris, because he's the only one in the lineup with an OPS plus over 100. You're stupid, okay? Because he's the only one that has an OPS plus over 100. Great. He's doing his fucking job. What part of his job is not to do is to run around with a goddamn cat when the team's in a losing streak. Okay? It's bad optics.
If you're on a 10-game tear and you're in first fucking place,
I even said that.
You could let the cat lick your butthole. I don't care.
I said that. I made a video about it yesterday on, if you're a subscriber to NYYNewsTV, you probably saw it. And I said, if the Yankees were on a heater and they were 10 games in first place, this doesn't even fucking bother me. But when you're losing, like the Yankees are losing, and you already have a feeling that the manager has no control over the team. And this is one of the players that continually is absent-minded while he's on the field. Doesn't look good. Doesn't sit well with me at all.
Crazy.
Aaron Boone needs to get the hell out of here. Okay. It's just plain and simple as that. And I like I said, dude, I can't listen to him anymore. I can't listen to this guy speak anymore. It's over. It's run its course. This guy's been here for 6 years now. 6 years. He took a team over that was at the doorstep of the World Series. At the doorstep, and they've gotten further and further away every year. And you want to blame Brian Cashman for the way that he's built this team? Fine. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that Aaron Boone just does not have control over this team. He doesn't get the best out of his players. Oh, but what about the next man up in 2019? Great. What's happened since
Where'd
then?
that go?
What happened since then? Why? Because Cameron Maben hit a few home runs. We got a couple of good months out of Mike Tauchman. So now all of a sudden Aaron Boone's got a magic wand. What's happened since then?
Crazy.
It didn't suddenly turn into Ken Griffey Jr. He had 2 good weeks, and then he turned into being what Billy McKinney is. Aaron Boone has got to go. Okay, there's nothing else that can be said right now. You're not going to make a major trade in terms of shaking this team up because somebody off this team's got to go, right? Who would you trade off this team? Giancarlo Stanton? He could say no. He could say go fuck yourself. I'm staying here.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you going to trade off this team that you would want that would shake up the room like that? You're not trading Garrett Cole. You're not trading Aaron Judge. Anybody else you trade off this team you'd want him off the team anyway.
Look, I tweeted this the other day. I tweeted 2 things I want to touch on. The first one is I said this and I was shocked at how many people replied like that's the word I was looking for. But I just said like I've never felt so disconnected from a Yankee team in my life. I am so disconnected. I don't know if it's because they haven't. They are.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they haven't had a significant stretch. But it's definitely just I think I'm just sick of the bullshit and overall I know how this story ends. I do. But more importantly, I asked Yankee fans who want them to sell, why? What are you selling? Because think about this, ready? When you trade prospects, that's not selling, that's buying technically, right? When you're trading prospects, big prospects, you're getting big MLB ready players to win now, right?
Yes.
So that's not a sell. So who are you selling? The only 2 guys worth anything, like anything big where you're going to sell them off and get players back that you're going to friggin' win a championship.
Yeah.
Are, in the future, are Judge and Cole. You're not doing that.
Which you can't trade anyway because of their contracts. So you wouldn't get the type of return you
exactly.
want anyway.
It would be stupid on all ends.
There are players that they can.
If
they want to do a rebuild, they could get some value out of guys like Wandy Peralta, Tommy Kahnle.
Okay, and
Clay Holmes.
People are like always saying you could trade bullpen pieces, but are you going to rebuild your team by trading Clay Holmes? Or are you going to rebuild your team by trading? Because they traded legitimate top flight closers in Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman, and it didn't do shit for them.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, when you're, oh my God, I hate you for bringing that up
again.
When you're selling big time pieces, that I'm talking about the trades where you wake up and your heart sinks and you want to throw up. One of those trades that you didn't see coming. The only guys that are going to get you something worth anything in the future are guys that can't be touched and shouldn't be touched. You should be building around them.
Right.
Yankees
so again,
don't have a player on their current roster that they could sell where you would look at and say, I could get something for him that I could win with in another year or so. Because Rizzo, no value. Stanton, no value. LeMahieu, no value.
No value.
Gleyber Torres, okay.
But what are you getting for
What are you
him?
really getting for? You're not going to get a franchise.
No.
You're not getting a franchise-altering return for Gleyber Torres.
He's a prospect that didn't turn out to be half of what they thought he was going to be so far. And I think that window is pretty much closed.
Yeah, no.
So what are you getting back for him?
The sell piece would be trading Severino on a walk year. What are you getting for Luis Severino right now?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Clay. Nestor Cortez off an injured-riddled, terrible season.
Right. Clay Holmes. Okay. Will you get maybe a couple pieces? Sure. But let's
get
just
two
think,
double-A relievers for Clay Holmes.
Let's think about something, right? In
Not
2016,
maybe one in the top 30.
Right. And in 2016, when we did sell and we got some pretty big names back, what happened to those really? So imagine the pieces you'd get for like a Clay Holmes, right? Or a Torres right now. They're not going to be top 5 prospects, top 3 prospects.
No.
Even when we got top 3 prospects, sometimes number 1 prospects, they still didn't pan out. Where's Clint Frazier?
Chicago.
Yeah. Does he still play? Isn't he a pinch runner?
Defensive replacement.
I mean, guys, if the Yankees couldn't even do it right, getting top of the line prospects,
Delgado made more appearances than at the end of the day has.
More than Josh Johnson.
Someone
hits.
should count. Yes, definitely that for sure. For sure.
No, you're absolutely right. That's a great point, man. That they have, if they really even wanted to rebuild, they have nothing. It's not like they have a guy like Ohtani on a rental or something that they can get a haul for. I know Ohtani's a whole nother level.
If this was last year, you trade Aaron Judge in this situation. That's selling. And you're going to get a return back in which that you could change the course of your franchise.
Right.
You have nothing to trade right now. That's why, like, sell, go. The Yankees need to.
Your mic cut out again, but it was like it was censoring you.
Yeah.
He said, "What are you fucking selling?" But to your point, Rye, of like, you know, what are you going to get back and whatnot, and touching up on what we were saying. The end of that tweet, the last point I made was they didn't even do it right in 2016, and the same people are here to do it again.
Yeah.
The same guy is here. So it's like we're brainwashed to just forget what happened in the past when they did have big pieces to sell. What makes you think that it's going to be any different? No, you just signed Carlos Rodon to a huge contract. You just signed Aaron Judge to a huge contract. You still are in, you know, Cole's prime of a huge contract. You can't sell. Right now, you're falling apart around these guys. You need to do everything, spend anything, trade anything for a fucking Hail Mary pass at this point to somehow salvage what you've done.
Well, I'm not trading for any rentals if I'm the Yankees. I need to move that was also going to help me for next year and beyond.
I disagree with you there.
No, there's no sense in spending assets on a straight up rental right now.
So you're telling me,
let's see where they are closer to the deadline.
So you're telling me
important.
What, 6-7 games out of the last wild card?
Hold on. So you're telling me that you wouldn't be okay with Ohtani coming here just because he's a rental and Judge coming back?
Giving up for Shohei Ohtani. You trading Volpe and Dominguez?
I'll trade anyone. Anyone.
I'm sorry, dude. That's just dumb.
Literally anybody.
That's just literally stupid.
Literally dumb.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm sorry. To trade your top prospect and the guy that's supposed to be your future shortstop for the next 10 years.
Hold on. You're thinking of this
Ohtani
as they're dead though this year.
Who?
You're thinking of this. Okay, so let me ask you this question. What if they were 4 games up in like the second wild card?
Different story. No. Not even if they're a legitimate team and you're telling me.
Okay,
that
gotcha.
That's different.
See, in my head, I'm thinking as we get closer, they're still in this thing.
In and now. What makes you think that they're going to get any closer to this?
Oh, I mean, I have a little tiny, like at the tip of my fucking pinky.
So do I. And then they take the field yesterday, and they're down 2-0 in the first inning, and then I'm just like, I'm going to go play.
This is an easy stretch
instead.
But here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing, though. they can't sell. We've already established that. And I think Cashman knows that, right? You can't sell. There's nothing to sell.
Cashman is the type of guy, he goes to, he runs a garage sale and he
Yeah.
wants to sell you,
Yeah.
Guns
He's
N'
Gary
Roses.
V. He's a shitty version of Gary V.
Wants to sell you a Guns N' Roses cassette where the tape is unwound and they can't get it back in the cassette. It's like, oh, it's vintage, $7.
No, no,
First edition.
no. He's the guy who shows up to the thing and buys that cassette and goes,
But he's
I just got
selling.
this for $2. And then he looks into the camera and goes, but really it's worth $1,000.
Yeah, they wanted $5. I talked them down to $2.
And meanwhile, the same cassette sold on eBay. The last 10 sales, they were for like 25 cents because he's the only person in the entire world who sees value in things that have no value at all.
Him and Gary V.
Oh, let's read a couple comments here because I like to.
I tweeted it,
Recorded
tweeted
thing.
it.
Okay, tweet it. Okay.
tweeted
Our
it.
buddy Eric Medic 968 says traditionally, if a GM gets fired, the manager is out the door because the new GM will want the ability to construct his own team and infrastructure. So he has nicknames for Cashman and Boone. You'll hear him. Firing Cashball is essentially firing Bubbles.
Wow. Love it.
It's true, and I don't disagree with that. But as I said earlier, like
Cashball.
today, Aaron Boone has to be the guy that gets fired.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just a couple more here, okay? Let's see here. We have Jeff Klein that says, I love being in the 5%. And I asked Jeff, hey, Jeff, you care to let us know why you would not fire either? And guess what Jeff's answer was? Crickets. You
Crickets.
know, that's what cucks do. They don't answer questions like that.
Cuckity cuck.
Cuckity cuck, cuck, cuck. All right. So,
Can I just say one last thing? Because it that one of those comments just made it the thought come to my head.
were you triggered?
A little like a small part of me of why I voted I'd want to fire Cashman first. I know everyone's gonna think I'm crazy, but there's like a small part of me that would actually love to see what Aaron Boone could do as a manager on like actually being a manager.
That was last year. I'm over that now.
Yeah, no, I'm over it too, but there's still a slight part of me that is like, I'd like to see Aaron Boone get, dehypnotized here and go back to the baseball guy we were all told he was, which I truly believe. And he's just a brainwashed idiot who's done.
All right, so let him go take over another team and let's see what he's got there because I don't want to see.
Okay.
Okay, so one more from Patrick because we haven't heard from Patrick.
Ah, my boy. Hello, fellas.
Patrick says, I'd fire Boone first because he can't run a water tap, never mind this baseball team.
Surprised you didn't say a beer tap. You cut out.
Maybe he's cleaning up here.
Maybe, hey, he's
Another
on the
thing.
wagon, baby.
Listen, get off the wagon.
So the Yankees are home. Okay.
Okay.
They're playing the Kansas City Royals, and as we said earlier, these are the three guys that are facing the Yankees this weekend. Okay. Tomorrow, Marsh takes the mound for the Royals,
Randy Marsh.
5.40.
Okay.
On Saturday, Garrett Cole is pitching.
Oh, yeah?
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Garrett Cole is pitching against
Oh, man.
Brady Singer. Brady Singer has a 5.7
You'll
ERA.
be singing my tune.
And you want to hear this pitching matchup for Sunday?
Let me hear it.
Mhm. Domingo.
Most apropos ERA for Luis Severino, 6.66.
Nice.
Against Jordan Lyles, 6.05 ERA, 1-11 on the season.
All right.
Wow.
Looking good.
I mean,
Sweet.
what do we have to say about that? There's no like, yeah, we'll get him. This is a get right situation. It's not. You can't even say that anymore. You can't even be like, well, we'll get him. At least we know we'll get him on Saturday when Cole's on the mound because they don't win those games either. There's nothing that this team does that you could hang your hat on and say, well, I can at least guarantee they'll do X. The only thing I can guarantee is that they make me want to do X. And hello,
I'll do X.
Yeah.
I hear you. Keep
You wanna
going,
do
bro. I'm
X?
talking.
No, because something
Let's
popped
get
up
to
on
it.
my
Let's get to it, though.
on my computer here. I thought it
I'll do X.
made me want to do X, and that the only
It's
thing that they
gonna
do
live
is that they don't score. They don't score runs, and
Yeah.
if they do score runs, then the bullpen will blow it. It's just, I can't. I got nothing, dude. I got nothing to be optimistic about right now. They don't know
No.
when they can't even tell you accurately what close means, because in the Yankees world, close also means months away. They don't play
God.
well. They don't play well behind their ace. They don't do anything other than fucking frustrate the living shit out of me and make me fucking question life decisions. Like, why am I watching this right now? All that they do.
Severino 6.66 ERA, and NYYNewsTV wrote in the chat, Donaldson had 666 plate appearances for his Yankee
He
career.
did. Wash Donaldson had
Look at that.
666 plate appearances.
Devil.
for the New York
Devil.
Yankees.
So there we go. All
So we have a
connecting.
little bit of news here.
Okay.
Okay.
We are working on a big event. NYYST will be live at Lido's Sports Bar in North Arlington, New Jersey. We're going to be doing a live show
Ooh.
during
Lido's Sports Bar, featured not just any sports, but featured on, what is that show?
Dave Portnoy,
Dave Portnoy
Did a
Really?
picture
reviewed.
review there,
Yeah,
yes.
got a review of it, like an 8.2 score.
Wow.
Solid score. So it's good eats, good Pete's.
Wow.
Watch
That's
the
solid.
fellas.
Yeah, so it is tentatively scheduled right now. We are still working out the final details, but it's tentatively scheduled for August 19th at 1 o'clock. The Yankees will be playing at home that day, but against the Boston Red Sox. So we are tentatively scheduling that right now. So mark your calendars for that. Next week we'll be back live on Thursday after the Mets series concludes. We'll be back here live on Thursday. So we hope to have the final information on that. But we would love to see everybody out there at Lido's Sports Bar in North Arlington, New Jersey on the 19th there, as we're going to be doing a live show during the game. So that's a little bit of news there. We're very excited for this. And we hope everybody comes out and shows their support.
And we got a little something special working, right? Cooking up.
Mm-hmm.
A little something hot. Right?
We're gonna dump 5 gallons
Oh,
of blue
yeah.
cheese on Chris.
Okay.
Hell
Alright.
yeah. And then we're gonna make him spell at the end of the day with the blue cheese.
Wow, that's good.
Well, that's something that we're working on. Also, you guys already know September 23rd in the Audi Club at Yankee Stadium. Come pour one out for the 2023 Yankees, because who the fuck expects them to still be alive at that point? But we do still want to see you out there. Let's have a good time. Let's reminisce about the good old days.
Okay.
When this team had some balls.
Ugh.
Also, if you're still in the chat and you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting for? We're about to close the show. Hit the like button, subscribe to NYY News TV. Okay.
Smash it.
Okay. Leave us a review on Spot. By the way, anyone who's a Spotify fan too, our videos are up there now as well. Anyone listening to this on Apple Podcasts, if you want to switch over to Spotify, you can watch the video, or obviously head to the NYY News TV YouTube channel. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, or you have Apple Podcasts and you're watching right now, please just take a second, leave us a 5-star rating and review. I hate seeing the 4.5 there. It really bothers me. I want to get that up.
Okay. We hate seeing the 4.5.
Okay.
Because we know it was trolls. We know trolls did it.
Trolls.
Mm-hmm.
Inside sources told me
Had
that.
to be.
All right, so another longer show here, but again, even with this team being bad, there's just a lot to get off our chest at this point. I thought that we were going to do Yankee fan therapy today, because it really does feel like the season is over at this point. But there's still more games to play, and this is the fucked up part about being a fan. We're all gonna be in front of that TV at 7:05 tomorrow night.
That's right.
Or following on our phone, or listening to John and Susan. We're diseased. We're diseased people, but this is what this ball club does to us. And it's that blind hope, that blind optimism that keeps you coming back, that today is going to be the day. Today's the day that they get right. And let's hope that it is tomorrow, man, because I don't know how much more of this we can take. 1-5 against the Rockies and the Angels is just, especially when you should have won two of those games there. I mean,
yeah.
But we want to
pathetic.
thank everybody for their continued support of NYYST and NYY News TV. We want to thank everybody for listening and watching episode 341. SGR,
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Before it hits the front page, NYY